All right, let's talk about something that is on every government agency's mind right now: artificial intelligence. I mean, the promise is just massive, right? We're talking smarter services, happier citizens, and of course, lower costs. But here's the thing: the risk of getting it all wrong is just as big. So, how do you make sure your big bet on AI actually pays off? Let's dive in. You know, this quote right here, it just perfectly captures the problem we see all the time. You can have the most powerful, most advanced AI engine in the world, but if you just bolt it onto an operation that's already kind of clunky, with inconsistent processes and broken workflows, you're not going to get a high-performance machine. Nope. You're going to get a very, very expensive crash. And that crash, well, that's what we call the AI spending trap. So many agencies are pouring millions into AI, really hoping it's going to be some kind of miracle cure for all their operational headaches. But here's the hard truth: automating a chaotic system doesn't fix it. It just makes all that chaos happen at machine speed. And that burns through taxpayer money and erodes citizen trust even faster. So that's the big question, isn't it? How do you avoid that crash? How do you get past all the hype and build something that actually works for your team and, most importantly, for the public you serve? Well, it turns out the answer isn't about buying more shiny new tech. It's about getting your foundation ready first. The solution is something we like to call a pre-flight safety check for your entire operation, the ISO 1825 standard. Now, I know what you might be thinking. ISO standard, sounds like a lot of bureaucracy. But trust me on this, stick with me here, because this is probably the most powerful tool you have to de-risk that huge AI investment. So what is this thing really? To put it simply, ISO 18295 is an audit that basically stress tests your contact center. It digs in and verifies that your processes are consistent, that your service is effective, and, this is a big one, that your data is secure. It's all about getting your house in order before you bring in that multi-million-dollar AI system. Okay, so let's get into the nitty-gritty. How does an audit like this actually build the solid foundation that your AI desperately needs to succeed? We're going to walk through the key steps of the audit, and you'll see exactly how each one translates directly into being ready for AI. So here's our roadmap. It all comes down to 5 core steps in this process. We've got document review, then gap analysis, data protection checks, performance metrics, and finally, corrective action plans. Let's break down what each of these really means for your AI project. First up, document review. You can think of this step as literally writing the textbook for your AI. See, an AI can't learn from what we call tribal knowledge. That critical process that only Sharon, your 20-year veteran agent, knows how to do because it's all in her head. No, an AI needs clear, written rules to learn from. This first audit step forces you to get all of that crucial knowledge out of your team's heads and down on paper into what we call standard operating procedures, or SOPs. And these documents, your manuals, your policies, they become the actual training textbook you will feed your AI. Without them, your AI is basically just an empty brain with nothing to learn. Okay, next is the gap analysis. And the impact here is absolutely critical. You have to fix your broken workflows before you try to automate them. Just think about it. If a process is confusing for a smart human being, it's going to be a complete dead end for an AI. So the gap analysis, it systematically hunts for these broken workflows. The standard calls them nonconformities. What it gives you is a crystal clear, prioritized punch list of what needs to be fixed right now. By cleaning up all these tangled processes first, you make sure your new AI is running on smooth, efficient rails, not some bumpy, broken down track. Step 3 is totally non-negotiable, especially when we're talking about government. It's all about data protection. This is about building the safety guardrails for citizen data. AI models need to consume just massive amounts of data to learn, so you have to be 100% certain that data is handled securely. The audit takes a microscope to every single aspect of how you store, access, and even delete sensitive information. This step is all about building that essential citizen trust and preventing a catastrophic data leak before you plug in some third-party AI that could create all new vulnerabilities. I mean, it's simple. You lock all the doors before you invite the guest in. Next on the list, performance metrics. So let me just ask you this. After you've spent millions of dollars on a new AI system, how are you going to prove to your director, to your stakeholders, that it was actually worth it? You can't just say it feels faster. You need a reliable starting point, a verified baseline.
This audit step independently verifies your key performance indicators, things like average handling time. What it gives you is a trustworthy before picture of your performance. Then, once the AI is live, you can create the after picture and definitively prove your return on investment with hard, credible data that nobody can argue with.
And that brings us to our final step, corrective action plans. Here's the thing you gotta know about AI. It thrives on consistency and predictability. It gets completely thrown off by exceptions, by one-offs, and by human guesswork. This step is all about eliminating that guesswork from the equation.
So when the audit finds a problem, it doesn't just let you put a Band-Aid on it. It requires a real plan to fix the deep-down root cause. This whole process standardizes your operation, making sure that similar tasks are handled the same way every single time. And that creates the clean, consistent, and predictable environment where an AI can truly shine.
Okay, so you've done the work, you've put in the effort to build this incredible foundation. What does the payoff actually look like? Let's take a look at some real-world results that come from doing it this way, from taking this foundation-first approach. So what's the real impact? Just take a look at this chart. This shows a pretty typical agency's average handling time. Before they did the audit and brought in AI, citizens were waiting on the line for 480 seconds. That's 8 full minutes. After building the right foundation and then implementing AI, that time plummets to just 290 seconds. That is a 40% reduction. 40%. Just stop and think about what that really means. It means massive cost savings. It's a huge boost in your team's capacity, and it's a fundamentally better, faster experience for the citizens you're there to serve. This is the real, tangible result of not just buying AI, but actually preparing for it. And all of this brings us to the final, and I think the most important question. This is the one you need to take back to your team, back to your leadership, because at the end of the day, your AI will only ever be as good as the operational foundation it's built on. So you have to ask, is your foundation a messy go-kart with a flat tire, or is it a high-performance machine that's ready for that Ferrari engine? Is it built to crash, or is it built to last? Thanks for joining me.